Hello everyone, I'm FARMERSIM and welcome back to Pallegney. I do hope you're all doing very well and having a wonderful day. So here we are, we're in our the first of our 2-day months. We're in September, 20 to 9 in the morning, a little bit later than I'd like, but yeah, we're here nonetheless. So, onwards from the last episode, I was mentioning that I was a little bit concerned about the levels of food that we've got meadow-wise in this cow pasture. I was a bit worried that I might have to buy in a few loose silage bales just to keep them, just to get that TMR mixer working, just to get some food into here. But fortunately, I did keep an eye on the numbers when I left August. The meadow capacity was up to, it was just over 12,000 litres. We've woken up this morning and it's just north of 14,000 litres. So thankfully, I'm hoping, touch wood, fingers crossed, that this will just tide them over nicely until the bales have fermented, and then a little bit more time into the future until the TMR mixer will get things done relatively quickly, won't it? But the bales are currently 25% fermented now that we've shifted forward overnight. So hopefully, timing-wise, things might work out kind of okay, I think, which is brilliant. As you can see, they are producing manure. Confusingly, if you look in the info box in the bottom right there, we've actually got 2 readings for manure. It says we've got 938 litres out of 1 million, and at the very bottom we've got 638 out of 500,000. So I'm a little bit confused by that, but either way, they are producing manure. We've got just over 1,300 litres of slurry in the slurry tank. And as you can see, they have started producing milk. Only 54 litres, so, you know, nothing really much to write home about. But they're producing. That's all that matters. So when we get a decent quantity of milk out of there, we'll get it shifted over into our little production system over here and get a few products started to churn away. A bit of milk, cheese, butter. Sorry, not milk. We'll be putting milk in there, but we'll get some cheese and butter and maybe a couple of other things out of there in due course, which is great. Looking forward to that. But yeah, so far so good. As you saw, the chickens have started producing some eggs. I think we had 24 pieces of eggs. That description never sits right with me. It's pieces of eggs. It's like we've dropped them all over the floor. But yeah. So we've got plenty to do anyway. We've got loads of field work to get cracking on with. We're now in the season for planting barley, canola and wheat. But before we can do that, we've got a few things to get done. Just given the tractors a bit of a clean off to start the month afresh. I haven't cleaned off the harvester yet because we're going to be using that very shortly because the sorghum field is ready to go. So I think that makes sense to get that done first, because then once we've got that out the ground, and then when we start picking up the likes of the lime spreader and the cultivator, we can get jobs done all at the same time. Field 35, I think it is, the long field that we harvested in episode 1. That obviously currently needs running over with the cultivator. As we can see, we've got some weeds in there. That's a similar story for field 9, further over on the map there that we worked in the last episode, getting the straw bales picked up and all that, and the harvest ran in there. That's in the same state. It's got weeds growing, so we need to run that over with the cultivator. The 2 grass fields as well that we worked in, after running the field roller, the grass roller in here, this is now growing away again. This particular one needs lime, which will get sorted at some point. The field towards the viaduct down there, that doesn't need lime though. It's fertilised, it's limed, and the grass is growing, so that's all great. We've currently got a yield bonus of 78% in here, but of course, add a bit of lime, and it is 100% fertilised, so we can increase those numbers a bit more. So yeah, plenty to crack on with. So what I do have in mind now, you know, maybe it's a bit samey of me, I don't know, but this is, I do like to do this kind of thing. But once we've got the sorghum out the field here, and this is all dealt with, and you know, we can essentially box this field off, I'm going to stitch these 2 together. I always do it. It's just something I always do. It just makes sense because I don't really like the shape of the field. It's very sharp and angular, which is fine. But you know, I think combining these 2 fields together would make one really nice big field, of course. And I think what I've got in mind in here is to pop canola in here because it is a valuable crop. So obviously, if we can get the land tip top, as it were, make sure it's, you know, fully fertilised, limed, etc., etc., we can get a pretty good yield out of it. And then when you consider the numbers that you can get from canola when you sell it, I think it could be a good money earner. So that's what I'm potentially thinking of doing with this, with these 2 fields. Stitch them together. It makes sense while this one's empty, doesn't it? Really, to be fair, this one needs lime, and I think quite possibly this will need lime as well. Yeah, it does. So obviously this one's a bit of a mess. This is how the game gave it to us to start off with. We've done no work in this field whatsoever, so the yields are not great at all. Only a 19% yield bonus. So yeah, it's pretty awful, but it is what it is. We'll get what we get out of it, and just go from there. So that's great. But One thing I do want to showcase to you very, very quickly. Now, it's a wonderful feeling. I feel really quite, you know, overwhelmed that a modder has contacted me and asked and asked if I'd like to take a quick look at a mod that they're working on before it gets released to the public. And this one is absolutely genius, and it's something that I'm sure a lot of us have questioned why it wasn't in the game to start off with. But sure enough, modders to the rescue and all that. Now, a few episodes ago, I did showcase another mod from this modder. His name's Oz. Hello, mate, if you're watching. Really appreciate sending me this mod to me, mate. But yeah, a few episodes ago, I did showcase one of Oz's mods that he's working on. The task list mod. I showcased that over on Oakbridge Farm. But literally just within the last hour or so, he sent me a copy of a mod that he's working on, and it is called Garage List. Brilliant. I'm sure you all know what that means. Again, like I said, why it's not been in the game to start off with, I do not know. I've really had a bit of a dislike for how we've been able to view our currently owned and leased vehicles within the game. It's a bit finicky, if you ask me. But anyway, here we go. So you go into your vehicle menu. And as you can see, we have a new icon. Click on that, and there we go. Quite simply, our owned and leased items. Absolutely brilliant. So if I go into, I go into small tractors, I can see the machinery that I've got here. I can sell them, and you can see what you've got. Obviously, it needs no explanation, does it? It gives you all the information for the vehicles that you currently own and the bits and bobs. It highlights where they are on the map. And with a quick click there, as you see on the bottom, it says switch mode. Now, I don't have any leased items, but obviously if I did, there they are. All good. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, everything we own here. So it's just much easier, and it's a much nicer user interface than having to go, deep into the settings down here and initially remember which one it is, and it's like, well, where do I go? And you've got to kind of, it's in general, is it in game settings or general setting? Where is it now? This one, there we go. You see, that's me genuinely thinking, oh, I'm in the wrong menu there. So you've got to go to there, you've got to go to there, and all you get is a list. Yes, you click on it and you get a little image there, and again, it showcases where it is on the map. It's all good. But it's not really that much of a nice user interface, is it? Let's be honest. But having this, bang on. So Oz, mate, absolutely brilliant. He is still working on it in a minute. He's ironing out a couple of little tiny, literally, tiny little things. And then he does plan on sending it to Giants, to the ModHub for public release. It is going to be a PC only mod, of course, because of the way it's constructed using scripts and stuff. But he does plan on sending it to Giants. So and I'm sure we're all familiar. I've got no idea. None of us can say when it will be released. But once it has been sent to Giants, then it's in the hands of Giants, and when they get it tested, and we'll no doubt see it pop up on the ModHub at some point very soon. But yeah, this is just brilliant. It really is. Like I said, why it hasn't been in the base game like this from day one, I don't know. But leave it to the modders to fix the problems. Of course, it's just brilliant, the fact that we've got it. So, like I said, mate, Oz, I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to test your mod and have a look at it. And like I said, it works. For all intents and purposes, mate, it works perfectly. We can go in, see what we own. It's all categorized as we'd expect. And, yeah, you can just see what you've got. There you go. Obviously, it gives you all the information, your hours worked, etc. And if you wanted to, you can sell your machinery and implements from here. It's just much easier. Absolutely brilliant. So, there we go. Another wonderful mod that we can look forward to and expect to pop up at some point on the Giants ModHub. So, we need to crack on. The first job, like I say, we're going to get our sorghum out the field. So we need to jump in our harvester. Now, I'm hoping that my header is going to squeeze nicely down that little lane there. I haven't actually tested it, so I'm just going to... I don't need to worry about dragging the header trailer down there, I hope, because it is so close to the farm. I'm hoping I should just be able to pull that up there, disconnect the trailer. Let's get that unfolded while we're dilly-dallying around. But I think it kind of looks... Obviously, I don't have a tape measure, do I? But it kind of does look like it should fit. Just. Hopefully not leaving Clars-coloured paint strip down the side of that wall on the left. Oh, there we go. Look at that. It was meant to be, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant. There we go. Right, so And again, another reason, which is completely unique to me, I suppose, but another reason why I really did want to stitch these fields together, because I just, you know, I like to have a nice way of entering a field kind of thing, and this bit here just doesn't kind of sit right with me, if I'm honest. We've got the grass field, of course, but yeah, I feel, because this field here, the one that's got nothing in it, has kind of like a designated entrance point up there by the houses. The lane just kind of runs along the back there, along the wall. So again, it just makes sense. And I do like a big field, let's be honest. I think the header on this harvester is still more than suitable for this big field, even when we do join it, when we join it together. I think it's still a really good size. So yeah, looking forward to that. So anyway, stop waffling, crack on. So I'm going to get all this machinery gathered together. I need to hook up the grain trailer to the little class here. It's currently nice and clean, giving it a quick wash. We'll give the harvester a wash when we're done with this job as well. So there we go. Right, so I'll get all this sorted. Stick a bit of music behind the job, as per usual. And I'll see you in a while. Right, that's us. Job done. Now, I wasn't expecting big numbers off that field, and big numbers we didn't get in total. After you, mate. In total, we got 19,392 litres. We got an almost full trailer a little bit earlier on, and what we've got behind us at the minute, 3,815. So we need to get this tipped into the silo, give time-saving stock check a quick consultation, and that'll tell us what that will be worth, what that'll translate to in income come January when it's time to sell everything. On top of the wheat and barley we've got in there at the minute, January stands to be, well, a reasonable month anyway for a bit of harvest income. So there we go, that's about right. Shouldn't take more than a few seconds. There's only a tiny bit in there behind us. 3, 2, 1, there we go. Lovely stuff. Right, so time-saving stock check. What have you got for us? So we've got 12,131 euros of wheat. We have got 10,173 euros worth of sorghum. That's what we've just got off the field there, and 6,070 euros worth of barley. So in total, that is 28,374 euros. So yeah, brilliant. January is going to be a half-decent month, thankfully. Looking forward to that. So let's get rid of this for now. We'll pop this in the shed. Harvester's parked up with the header and trailer. That's in need of a quick wash. Now we do need to get the straw picked up out of that field. Obviously I do have the extended straw crop mod turned on by Yoss Modding. So that does mean that we will get straw from the likes of canola and sorghum and corn and a couple of other crops as well. Oh, look at that. Not bad going, if I don't say so myself. Get that dropped off. Does take a second or two. There we go. Lovely stuff. So let's go grab the baler. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this next job done off camera. I'm going to get the baling done, and then I'm going to spend a few minutes in FAF mode, just doing the work I wanted to do with these two fields, getting them joined together. Say FAF mode because I want to. I do want to do a little bit of work, just trimming off the edges of the field in a couple of places, just to neaten it up and make it a nice shape, and you know, not leave any bits sticking out or anything like that. It does take a few moments just to square things off, as it were. So let's, where are we? Let's come out of cab view for that. So we'll turn the baler on, drop it off, drop it down, sorry, there we go. We need to follow these swaths. Probably going to be easier out of cab mode. There we are. Now, because the yield wasn't massive, I'm not expecting, again, huge numbers of straw from this, but it's still a number nonetheless, like I said before. So it will increase the stockpile of straw over in the shed for a bit, so that's excellent stuff. But yeah, I'm going to get this lot done, and then, like I say, I'm going to pick out the cultivator. And I'm going to, because I'm going to need to spend a few minutes in construction mode, just painting over these bushes, for example, getting rid of these, and the plants and the little bits of flowers and stuff that we've got here. Cultivate over this strip, and then run the whole thing as one. So I'll pick you up in, might be a couple of hours time for me, but for you guys it'll be a matter of seconds, and the next time you see me, this whole area should be one freshly cultivated field, ready for a coat of lime, because the bit we're stood in here at the minute does need some lime, as does the what we've just harvested here. This needs lime as well. So I think we've got like 4 bags of lime on the farm at the minute, so something tells me we're going to go right through that real quick. So we are going to need to spend a little bit of money, potentially, on a bit more lime, but we'll sort that out come the time. So yeah, I'm going to get cracking, and I'll see you all very soon. There we go, job done. Really happy with that. Now I haven't used CoursePlay's custom course function for this. I just essentially manually ran the cultivator with allow create fields on across the strip between the two fields, and then just plotted a big course across the whole field. So I still don't have the ability, and I don't actually know whether CoursePlay is supporting this at the minute with its latest update, but I can't actually accurately say exactly what acreage this field currently is. So using the data that we had from the 3 fields that this used to be, it's roughly just over 12 acres, 12.2 something maybe, give or take a bit, which is a decent size, quite frankly. I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. It is, at the minute, it's currently 2 different textures, of course, but there's nothing I can do about that, really. That'll sort itself out in due time. But it's a decent sized field, and when we get it drilled with canola, come harvest time again next year, this could bring in a decent chunk of money, which is excellent stuff. So while CoursePlay has been running that job anyway, I've been kind of dithering around in the background, just sorting a few more things out. And one thing I have done, and I want to give a massive shout out to one of my Discord members, Woodshock, and viewers, hope you're well, mate, if you are watching, hope all's good. What he'd done is he posted a couple of images on my Discord of an amendment to the grass XML that he's done. Now, this came as a direct result of one of my good friend Scroft's videos a couple of weeks ago, and it was one of these things that I'd put on my to-do list to essentially just properly in detail watch the video and make these amendments myself, because the difference that it makes to the grass is quite brilliant. So I've made these amendments now. I've come in and out of the game. And again, I want to say a big shout out, like I've done just to Woodshock, because what he's done is, if any of you are interested, now this is obviously something you can only do on PC, of course, because it's making amendments to the game's XML files. But he has very kindly popped a copy of his XML file in my mod updates section over on my Discord. So if any of you are interested in getting hold of that, by all means jump on the Discord, and it's in the mod updates section. So Woodchuck, mate, really grateful for you doing that. But look at this, look at the grass now. This is just in its first, you know, basic growth stage, as it were. But this is what it looked like previously. I did just make a quick clip, and as you can see, it's really patchy. There's big gaps in between the clumps of grass, and it just doesn't look right. And again, it's another aspect of the game that I didn't fully understand why it looked like this. I don't recall it being like that in 22. But this is what it looks like now. So much better, so much more dense. It's just a much healthier looking carpet of grass. Don't you agree, ladies and gentlemen? It's excellent. Now, I did the Woodchuck's version of the XML. The numerical values that he's amended are very slightly different to the one that Scroft did on his video, and I believe that's potentially down to the performance limitations on your computer, because when you really do up the density and change a few things of the grass, it can technically kind of, you know, affect your FPS sometimes. So but yeah, there's not too much of a big difference between the one that's on my Discord and the one that Scroft did. It's literally just a case of like the difference between 1.5 essentially, but still it looks brilliant. Don't you agree, ladies and gentlemen? It looks really good. So obviously it looks like this now in its first growth stage, and there are a couple of amendments to the latter growth stages as well, which will hopefully just look brilliant. It doesn't affect the yield, so it's not like a cheat or anything like that. I'm not going to get any more grass off this than what I would have done had I not done anything with the game XML, the grass XML, sorry. It's purely a visual thing. And like I just said, I think it looks perfect, quite frankly. So, there we go. Right. But the cultivating doesn't end there. So, while we're down at this end of the field, it makes sense that we jump into this one now. This is the next one we need to work in and get this sorted out. We also do need to sort out field 9, the smaller field that we worked in the last episode. But for now, we're going to concentrate on this one. So this needs a good running over. As you can see, it's peppered with weeds. Yeah, and it needs a good sorting out. So, much like before, stick a bit of music behind this one. Let's get it done. Nice job done. So as you can see, this one's actually all right for lime, thankfully, which is good, but it does need a good double coat of fertilizer over the coming months. So that's 2 down, 1 to go. Very happy with that. And obviously next episode I think we will be cracking on with getting field 9 cultivated as well, and then we can essentially dig the lime spreader out, get all the fields coated with lime that need it, and then start thinking about getting some seed into the ground. Now, you'll have to forgive me, I've just realised as well that I completely forgot to give you a very brief rundown on the straw that we got out of the field before I joined them both together. We only got 9 bales. Like I said, the yield wasn't particularly great from the field, so I wasn't expecting big numbers. We got 9 bales, 7,500 litres. We got 67,500 litres of straw. So that brings the grand total of straw that we have just stored in the bale barn over there, 222,500 litres. So that's really quite good. We've got a lot to fall back on there. That's essentially equivalent to pretty much filling the cow barn with bedding 9 times, and that's on top of the 40,000 litres that we've currently got in the TMR mixer as well. So for straw, I think for the near future, we're absolutely tickety-boo. There we go. I'll tell you what, though, I'm now that I've made these amendments, I'm not going to tire of looking at this grass. I'm excited to... I haven't actually jumped into any other map to see what fully grown grass looks like yet with these settings the way they are. So I might, when I'm done with this one, I might just jump very quickly back onto Calmsden, or Oak Bridge, sorry, and just have a quick peek because it looks awesome. But yeah, so another thing that's very briefly, another thing that has been going through my mind, I did touch base in episode 1 of this series regarding the cedar that we've got on the farm. It's not particularly big, of course. It's one of the base game ones, but it's quite heavy, and our tractors, they're not massively powerful, and they're not big framed, heavy footed tractors. We do have a big front weight to go on the front of this one to help it along to try and use that cedar when it comes to drilling time, but it's still very heavy. The class that we've got, that literally bends itself in half when you put that thing on the back, weight on the front or not. This is the only thing that we've got that is even remotely capable of managing it, but the weight on the front, because of the way this front bracket operates, the weight on the front sits really far out front. Really quite proud of the tractor. And I know it's not important, function over form and all that, but it does look a little bit daft. So one thing that has been crossing my mind is, before we even use the cedar that we started with, because I'm pretty sure it's the one that the game gave us when we started, I'm thinking about replacing it, but not necessarily investing in one fully yet. We're at 112,000 euros in the bank. We've got around about 34 grand tied up in the cedar that we've got at the minute. If I was to sell that, bring the bank balance up to about 144 grand, and then lease, for the purposes of this season, lease a cedar just for the to get the few fields done that we need to get done, and then as we progress into next year, we get the harvest income in from all the crops that we've got in the silo over there. By that time, the cows will have started producing a bit more milk. We'll start be able to get that into our little production system at the farm there. Start getting some cheese and a few other bits and bobs made up, and then get a bit more money in the bank, and then we'll be able to potentially afford the cedar that I've been looking at. So very quickly, I'll show you the one that I am looking at. I didn't actually know this one existed until yesterday. I was catching up yesterday evening, having a bit of a chill out, watching Scroft's Small Holding series, and this one, the Novag T-Force Plus 350. As you can see, it's quite a hefty cost, 122,500 euros, but it is a really nice looking thing. It's exactly the same width as the one we've got. It's a toe behind cedar, so it doesn't require any front weights or anything like that. It's not going to be too heavy on the back of either of our tractors. I think even the class could manage this, which, do you know what I mean? It kind of opens up the capacity to use both tractors to use this thing. Yeah, it's a lovely looking thing. And because Novag is now in the game as well, it's really, it's nice to be able to utilize, even though it is a mod, it's nice to be able to utilize some of the new equipment that we've got now in FARMERSIM 25. So yeah, I do really quite like the idea of this. But like I said, potentially just lease it for this season, get the seeds done, get the fields done that we need to get done, and then moving forward into next year, consider buying one outright and having it down on the farm, because it's not too big, of course. It's nice, and it's relatively small and compact, and it should hopefully do us proud. So that's the plan moving forward. But for now, for this episode, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm going to call it here. Next episode, like I said, we'll be cracking on getting field 9 cultivated, get that one run over, and then we'll concentrate on bringing up the nutrition levels of the fields that are currently empty, get everything tickety-boo, and go from there. So, thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you have enjoyed the video and found it a little bit of fun. As always, if you're new to the channel and you like my content, you like the way I'm doing things, please consider hitting that subscribe button and jumping on board and joining the channel. Please consider giving the video a like if you can. It does do wonders. It helps the YouTube algorithm do its thing. And as always, there are a host of links in the video description below with my Giants Partner promo code. If any of you are in the market for purchasing Farming Simulator 25 and you like the idea of supporting the channel and helping out a creator, as always, I would be massively appreciative. And of course, if any of you are looking for an online server to play with your mates and you like the idea of a 10% reduction in the cost of that and also supporting the channel and helping out a creator, please consider using my G-Portal affiliate link, which again will be in the video description below. Any help and support there also would be massively appreciated. So thank you very much for your time, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.